Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole by agreeing to meet my dad to reconcile, but I was really there to get my mom's bracelet that he stole? My dad and I, 25 male, aren't close and I was never interested in having a relationship with him. He was the type of guy that was out all the time with his friends and never home. So, my mom divorced him when I was 12, and it got ugly. Sometime during the divorce we came home and stuff was missing. Not his stuff by the way, because that was cleaned out when he left. One of the stuffs missing was my mom's bracelet that she kept in a small box under some stuff in the closet. This bracelet was super special to her. Her parents were toxic as hell, but my mom was really close to her English teacher/mentor in high school who was like a mom to her. Her teacher gave her that bracelet at her high school graduation, and my mom kept it all these years. My dad knew she treasured it, and who else would look in that specific place to take only a bracelet when there was other stuff in the house? She knew it was him too, but he always played dumb. The divorce was finalized and we didn't see my dad after that. My mom never got it back. Last June, she got COVID and didn't make it. I was broken over that, still am I guess. Glad at least me, my sister and my stepdad have each other for support. Around October, my sister told me dad wants to talk to me, so she gave him my number. He apologized for being a horrible dad and asked if we could meet to talk at his place. I was ready to straight up say no, but then I remembered he stole her bracelet and maybe this was a chance to get it back. I've asked my sister before to push him about it since they talk, but she only asked him once and left it at that. I decided I could handle one visit just to see if he has it, so I told him I'd hear him out. So yeah, I met him at his place. We caught up on stuff. He told me his sob story about being immature, and too focused on stuff that wasn't important than being a dad or whatever. I ended up bringing up the bracelet and how important that was to me since my mom's not here anymore. He still kept trying to act like it wasn't him, until I said the only way I'd consider having a father-son relationship is if you just stopped with that and gave me my mom's bracelet. He finally gave in, and thank God he actually kept it instead of throwing it out. He apologized for taking it and knew it was being super childish. I was just happy to have it back, but mad my mom didn't get it before she died. I never guaranteed my dad a relationship, I just said I'd consider it. But I already made up my mind that I don't want anything to do with him. It's been months since our meeting, and my sister is pissed because my dad is disappointed I haven't talked to him. She says I was a huge piece of crap for making him think we'd reconcile. My only goal was getting the bracelet back, and I wouldn't have talked to him in the first place if it wasn't for that, so that's why I wonder if I'm the a-hole. My sis is biased here since she was little when they split and has a different version of him. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. He sounds like a terrible person. And the fact that he initially tried to deceive you about it, shows that he hasn't improved much, if at all. Also, I'm so sorry for the loss of your mother. That's awful. Glad you have people close to you for support. My heart broke when I found out your mother passed. At least you can cherish your mom's treasure as a memento. Not the a-hole of course. Not the a-hole. He would have given you the bracelet right away, if he was truly remorseful and wanted a fresh start. He's still a crap human. You don't owe him anything. If OP meant that as a test, crap daddy failed right there. That's what to tell sis. OP didn't mean it as a test, but if dad had come forward with it and not lied to start, then it might have left the door open a little. Oops. Not the a-hole, completely justified. Not the a-hole in the slightest, and my heart breaks for you and for your mom who never got to have her treasured possession back before she died. Your father is a bare-faced liar, vindictive. He certainly did this for no other reason than to hurt your mom, and on top of that, a manipulative person turning your sister against you while you were both grieving. You had every right to get that bracelet back and you only had to be slightly dishonest because of his extremely blatant dishonesty. I'm so sorry that you are going through this. Hopefully your sister will grow and gain more empathy for your perspective with time. He admitted he was drunk and feeling petty about the divorce when he went to the house to take it. But he had all these years to give it back. I just wish she got it back before that, but she didn't want to include the cops since it was gonna be more drama on us. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not helping my ex after he left our business? I, female 29, met my ex Ben, male 29, college and started a business right after our senior year. Our relationship often got toxic, but I think being business partners kept us together. Eventually our business started having financial troubles. Ben comes from wealth, so I asked him to get a loan from his parents which he agreed to. 2 months later, Ben suddenly asked for all the money back. We were always planning to pay it, but we had mutually decided on manageable installments, and I was not in a position to return all of it at the same time. Ben said his father was very sick, and since he was in retirement, his health insurance situation was tricky. This seemed particularly odd to me because 1. B did not give me any details on the sickness. 2. He didn't let me call his mother because she was grieving and couldn't talk about finances, and 3. Mom had more than enough money to pay for his treatment. Every time I tried to investigate, he asked me to trust him, and that's what I did. Getting the money back was an ordeal. We had already invested all of it in the business, and I had to take some out, and even give away all my personal savings. About 3 weeks after this, Ben called me to tell me that we are done. He also wanted out from the business, and the only other time I saw him was with lawyers when we were dividing our business assets, and he was withdrawing his name from all the official documents. I was devastated. In addition to all the emotional trauma, I had virtually no finances to fall back on and moved back in with my mother for a bit. I never heard from Ben, and after talking to some of our mutual friends, who were on my side, I found out that Ben's father was not actually sick. I wasn't surprised. 5 years later, I never gave up on my business, and slowly it grew and helped me pay off all my debts and live a comfortable life. I heard from some friends that both of Ben's parents passed away, but I didn't pay it much heed. In the midst of lockdown, I got an email from Ben. I knew this was not going to be good, but I responded, guided by my curiosity to know what he did with all that money. His parents have cut him out of their will, and he had a child with a woman who abandoned them. He also got laid off because of COVID, and he told me he was struggling to feed his son. He told me that since he was instrumental to the business's foundation, he deserved a cut from it now that it was successful. When I asked him about the money, he said his parents were pressuring him, which I did not believe. They were always on board with his frivolous purchases and knew me well enough to tell me if they wanted it back. I consulted my lawyer, who said Ben had no legal claims to the business. But when I told my best friend about it, she said that she was appalled by the fact that I didn't give it a second thought, especially because he was responsible for the business idea and his initial investment was twice as much as mine. She thinks I'm an a-hole, so I'm here to find out. That's a clear not the a-hole. Congratulations to you for persevering with the idea long enough to make it a success. Exactly. Very clear not the a-hole, no idea why any friend would suggest otherwise actually. I met her through him. She says she has always liked me more and hasn't spoken to him since the debacle, but I don't know how true that is anymore. I mainly consulted her because she knew the entire story thoroughly, but now it seems like she has a massive conflict of interest. He lied about his father being sick. He is probably lying about the child. Do not let your friend guilt trip you. The guilt trip is spot on. My friend told me that since I struggled financially at some point, I should have empathy because he is in the same situation now. Your best friend sucks. You are not the a-hole. You don't owe your ex at all. You did the work, so you get to reap the rewards. She usually tries to play the devil's advocate, but I think this time she took it too far. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for wanting to report my cousin, a GP, family doctor, of unethically accessing my medical records and divulging its contents to my extended family? I suffer from severe depression. But no one other than my partner, and my parents know that I don't like telling people, and outwardly, I'm a very bubbly person, and I'd prefer to keep it that way. Why, you ask? Through the grapevine, it was brought to my attention that several of my extended family members have been gossiping about my depression behind my back. Did you know that OP suffers from depression? I bet his partner broke up with him. He just wants attention. Etc. That's why. I trust my parents implicitly. Which leaves my cousin Christine, a general practitioner, a family doctor, who works at the medical clinic I am a patient of. Christine presumably has physical access to my medical records. But she would not have had a proper purpose to view them, nor a legitimate reason to disclose them to my extended family. At first, Christine even had the audacity to deny my accusations. But she quickly folded her hand when I threatened to complain to the clinic, and ask for a review of who has accessed my file. Here's where I may be the a-hole. Out of sheer spite, I wanted to make that complaint anyways, even though I know it'll land Christine in a world of hurt. On the other hand, is the punishment disproportionate to the crime? A lot of my family members think so. All of the family members who have made nasty comments about my depression have since apologized, and asked me to forgive both them and Christine. Even my parents reached out and pleaded for me to reconsider. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. See if you can make your complaint anonymous. In the States, it's illegal to even access an online medical record unless you are directly treating the patient. It's against the rules to snoop around for curiosity, let alone divulge health information to others. Good luck, that's a tough situation. Hijacking the top comment to add in, I'm in the UK as well and my best friend was fired from her job as a receptionist at a GP surgery for looking at a family member's medical records. She wasn't allowed to be a patient of the clinic at all while working there, and during routine review, was found to have looked at her siblings' medical records and was immediately terminated. It's a serious breach which your cousin has done and she deserves to be punished for what she did. Not the a-hole, and please make the report. It's very possible her workplace do random checks anyway. My brother and I both work in fields with personal data and are subject to such checks, as I think the ICO requires them. So your cousin wouldn't even have to know that you reported her. Not the a-hole. She didn't think about that when she was being nosy, was she? Screw all that. Report her immediately. It doesn't matter. Family or not, she violated the laws. If she gets in trouble, oh well. That's not your problem. Report her and then leave that clinic if possible. That crap ain't cool. She knew the risks and still did it. For what? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Screw that. Not the a-hole. While I don't like the idea of screwing with someone's career, medical information is kept private for a reason. It's hard to force yourself to get treatment for mental illness because of the stigma. Also, do you think this is the only time your cousin has looked in files she's not supposed to? Not to mention she gossiped. What would happen if someone hurt themselves because their private information was disseminated to the wrong person? Is it really screwing with someone's career if the person in question jeopardized their own career by violating HIPAA privacy laws? Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for asking my mom to leave my house? For starters, I'm 36 mil, an only child. My dad was a deadbeat, so my mom and I have always been extremely close. Apart from when I have girlfriends, my relationship with my mother is excellent. My mom is a very sweet person, but one of her bad habits is that she comments on people's weight. Not random strangers or anything, mind you, just people that she knows, like friends and family. Once quarantine hit, my wife, 32 female, got really into baking, and so both of us have put on some weight, but her admittedly more. I don't care, but she's really sensitive about it. There was only one time when I made a fat joke that was totally harmless, but it made her cry, so I never made any jokes like that again. Last night, my mom came by to give my son a violin lesson. She teaches violin professionally, and as she was giving instructions to my son, my wife walked by them eating a homemade cookie, and my mom said to my son, "Mom, you should really cut back on the cookies. What do you think?" But because she said it in Russian, her home country, my wife didn't understand. My son shook his head no, and I sharply told my mother not to say things like that in my house. She seemed to understand, and then finished the lesson. After she finished the lesson, my wife asked if she'd like to stay for dinner. My mother asked what she was making, and my wife said she had a meatball lasagna in the oven and some garlic bread, and then for dessert there were more cookies. My mom said to me in Russian that I shouldn't be letting her eat dessert before and after dinner. And this really pissed me off. So I told her if she can't respect my wife she'd have to leave. She got very offended, saying this was no way to speak to my mother, and I told her that I'm married now and things are different. She refused to apologize or drop the subject, so I asked her to leave, which she did, but not quietly. My wife was extremely confused at first, but once I explained to her everything that was said, she got extremely upset. She agreed my mother's comments were out of line, but thinks I should have let her stayed. So now I'm not so sure. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole in the slightest. Your mother was rude to your wife while she offered cookies and lasagna. Cookies and lasagna. Worst is she tried to get your son in on her rude behavior. It's disgusting that mother-in-law made comments to a child about his mother's weight, in a language the mother doesn't speak. Obviously mother-in-law knew what she was doing was wrong, or she would have made the comments directly. Instead, she tried to manipulate a child into speaking negativity about his own mother. I'm glad OP told her to leave. That behavior is so toxic there was no alternative. Apart from when I have girlfriends, my relationship with my mother is excellent. Wow. Huge red flag already, yikes. There was only one time I made a fat joke that was totally harmless, oof, doubt it. Definitely not the a-hole for kicking out your extremely disrespectful mother though, this shouldn't even be a question. The fact that she involved your son in her bullying? And in a language your wife doesn't understand? Absolutely disgusting and unacceptable. Don't let her back in your home until she sincerely apologizes. I'm sure I'll be downvoted, but I'll play devil's advocate a bit about why it might have actually been an innocent fat joke. I swear I have a point, probably not a good one, but don't stop at innocent fat joke. My wife and I casually make fun of each other about most things. If I do something stupid, she'll roast me a little about it kinda thing. It's mutual and I've never felt attacked by her or anything like that, and she's at least told me she feels the same. It's mostly always fine, but every now and then one of us will pick something that we didn't realize the other was very sensitive about. Like my wife made fun of me for balding once, and at the time, I had recently started losing some hair and I was actually really worried about it. So I did not respond like normal. She realized it was a boundary and no more balding jokes from her, until I came to terms with it and joked about it myself and told her it was okay. If they have a similar joking relationship and he didn't realize how sensitive she was about her weight gain, then I can see it being harmless in his mind when he said it, and only found out after it was harmful and stayed away from the topic. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.